Hey there, nation. Welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back with another episode of Hobbyside. And on today's Hobbyside video, we are taking a showcase look at our studio's 3,000 point Slaanesh Legion of Chaos army, known as the Shrieking Masquerade. So you guys have seen this army quite a bit in our Warhammer Fantasy Battle Report series. As you can see here, we got this really awesome looking 3,000 point Chaos Legion Slaanesh army. If you watched our series, A Deathly Desire, which was a little mini series that we did on our channel, that series was dedicated to the building, painting, and designing of this army. And if you watch that series, you pretty much know the design concepts behind it and how we went about making it. You also saw the progress we made over time on that army. But for those of you who might be my newer subscribers or my newer viewers, this is a little showcase video to show you exactly what this army looks like. This army is actually at 3,000 plus points, so we can actually put this in a 4,000 point game if we really wanted to, if we really wanted to add the points to it. But this is the army that we use in our studio. Now this army, the Shrieking Masquerade, is played by my little sister Shade. She primarily plays this army, and as you can see, it looks really, really awesome as well. This army is very quick, very hard-hitting, and for a Chaos Legion army, it's actually quite squishy. It's actually very easy to destroy and kill things because they got a really low toughness in this army for a Chaos Legion army. But that's okay though, because these guys fight for Slaanesh, and that's what it's all about: excess and death and destruction, and moving very, very quickly. It's a very fast-moving army. You can close across the battlefield pretty much in turn one if you roll pretty good. You can actually start fighting enemies starting on turn number one of the battle, and it just looks absolutely awesome. Now, to be fully disclosed of this army, when we actually put this army together, there was no real grand design behind putting this army together. It wasn't like we were looking for a specific theme or anything like that. What ended up happening is that this army was put together out of just opportunities that happened. This army is made up of miniatures that I could get at the cheapest when I could get them, basically. And that's what makes this army up, basically, for the most part. It's just whatever I can get my hands on at the time that I can get them on at the lowest price I could, and that's what we used in order to build this army up. So this army's got like a nice little mixture of Games Workshop miniatures from different time periods and also from different games as well. So for example, you can see here we have 3 Chaos Chariots. One is a Gore-Beast Chariot, one is a normal chariot. Those are both from the 8th edition of Warhammer Fantasy Battle, while this one here is from the 5th edition of Warhammer Fantasy Battle. It's an actual pewter kit. So that's where we got those from. We also got 5 Chaos Warhounds to act as flak, as chaff, because every army needs at least that. We got a unit of 20 Chaos Marauders. These guys are actually from a game called Battle Masters. These are actually archers, Chaos Archers, what they were called. I do a lot of conversion work with them, replacing their arms and stuff with Dark Elf arms and Chaos Marauder arms and stuff. This guy here is from a game called From Bones, from Reaper Mini. I believe he's a Hell Knight, I think is what he's called. But he's the unit champion for an army. We have a Demon Prince here from Warhammer 40,000. What happened was there was a gaming store in my town. My town originally had 2 gaming stores originally, and one of them, of course, went out of business. The other one is still around to this day, but the one that went out of business was having a closing sale. And what ended up happening is that I was able to buy this Demon Prince and all of these possessed Chaos Space Marines, I think they were called. It was a box that had a Demon Prince in it and 3 sets of 5 possessed Chaos Space Marines inside of it. And I think the thing usually goes for like 100 and something bucks, I think is what it goes for. I was able to get it for like $30 because the guy was liquidating his entire inventory. And so I was able to get it on the cheap because he was closing business. So that's where that Demon Prince came from. And so, like I said before, these were made up of miniatures I can get at the time, at the cheapest price I could at the time. So there's my Demon Prince. I got that guy there. He looks really, really awesome. And then these guys, these Forsaken here, are all primarily Chaos Space Marine, possessed Chaos Space Marines. I just took off their backpacks is all, and they look like they're possessed. And they look really, really cool. This one here, this guy riding the steed of Slaanesh, this I think is from the 6th edition of Warhammer Fantasy Battle. It's a pewter model. It's a really cool looking Slaanesh model. I was able to get that a long time ago. And this person here is another conversion job. This one's actually a Stormcast Eternal miniature from the I think it's There's the box set that had the Stormcast Eternal Vanguard guys with Plague Demon with Nurgle demons. As a special character, she had 2 axes, is what she had. Well, I took that miniature and I converted over with swords, and I used a Dark Eldar head that I was able to scrounge up somewhere, and that's what I used to make her head. So she's like a unit champion, kind of. And she's in that unit of Forsaken as well. If you notice, there's a lot of purple in this army. Purple being a color that's usually synonymous with Slaanesh. Also use a lot of pink and magenta in the armor, and the purple in the armor in these guys as well. Have like this kind of sky blue, grayish blue skin color for the demons. Really like how that came out. Now these guys here are my Bestigors. They're made up of a couple of 4th edition plastic beastmen with halberdiers, Battle Masters beastmen. There's a Warcry Bestigor gladiator character from the game Warcry, and this is the 4th edition miniature for a Keeper's Secrets for Slaanesh, the Slaanesh Greater Demon. So as you can see, they were much smaller back in the 4th edition of Warhammer Fantasy Battle. I use it as a Doombull for my army, and Kari, the Ravager of Ulthuan. I use her as a Doombull, and so does my sister Shade. And then of course we have this Games Workshop Lord of the Ring Orc guy that I was able to get for like a couple of bucks, I think, at my local gaming store. And of course we got a huge unit here of Demonettes of Slaanesh. These are from the Wrath and Rapture box set that came out a couple of years ago. Had a lot of Slaanesh demons in it. That's where this unit came from, and same thing with this unit came from, and that unit that came from that box set. So we have the Infernal Raptress there, as well as our Demonettes. These were actually a lot of fun to paint. A lot of pink and purple. That was kind of the motif that we got going on for our army here. If you're wondering how we did this base, it's just, the base work, it's just wood glue and sand, and we sealed the mixture of wood glue and water, and then I painted the entire base purple, Concord Great Purple, and I dry brushed it with light gray, and that's how I created it. And I rimmed the bases in normal gray to get like this kind of weird warp, realm of chaos. Something is not right with the ground type of look for these guys. Does a really good job of bringing the army together. Looks really, really cool. And of course we got 5 Seekers of Slaanesh, I think is what they're called. They're the Demonettes that ride steeds of Slaanesh. You see a lot of color in that one. They're riding blue and green steeds, and of course that color contrasts nicely with them. And then of course we have these guys, the Fiends of Slaanesh. These are from the Wrath and Rapture box set. Now these Fiends of Slaanesh, they are some of the most eerily creepy looking sculpts the Games Workshop ever made. Like, they look like human, mutant, crab, anteater, dragon things, and they just look so disturbing and so creepy and eerie. But at the same time, that pretty much is in the wheelhouse of Slaanesh, the Slaanesh armies. And these are some of the nicest sculpts that Games Workshop has released in a long, long while. In fact, as this video is being made, Games Workshop is actually previewing a lot of Slaanesh stuff, like Chaos Warriors and the new Sigvald the Magnificent miniature came out. There's also this huge one. There's like this guy's like the Lord of Gluttony. He rides this huge chariot being dragged by ogres. I mean, some of the new Slaanesh stuff coming out looks really, really awesome. Now, I hate to say it, but actually, depending on what the price of those miniatures are, this army might get actually a little bit bigger, just because some of those miniatures look really, really awesome and they look on point. For example, like what's it called? Dire Chasm, I think is what it's called. The new Shadespire game that came out. They got some Slaanesh people in there. They got like a Bestigor mutant and some other stuff. They look really, really cool. They got kind of like this 300 Persian look going on with some of those guys, like from 300, the movie 300, the way they made the Persians look, with the ridiculous necklaces and piercings and stuff. It's not historically accurate at all, but it looked cool. It's got this really cool aesthetic. Well, they're making them look like that, and that would be actually kind of cool to have in this army. And then of course we got our 5 Hellstriders of Slaanesh. These things are black and blue, just to make these look different from those, so that way there's like some differences between the two units. Of course, we got these riders on them. Like, for example, the new Hellstriders are coming out. Those things look amazing. The new Hellstrider previews that came out, those things look like legit awesome. They look much tougher than they did in their Warhammer Fantasy Battle predecessors. They just look really, really awesome. So I might be getting more. I don't know. You know, I say getting more, but I'm a cheapskate at heart. If I don't need it, I'm not going to buy it. So, you know, that's how that works. Because the way I kind of control myself when it comes to building armies and things is that I don't play the army until it's fully painted. That's what I do to kind of discipline myself, because, you know, a fully painted army on the battlefield with the terrain that we use on our channel looks really, really impressive. So using unfinished miniatures on a battlefield with our terrain, it just looks really sloppy, and it just kind of like doesn't look good. So in my gaming group, that's the rules we make. You know, your army must be fully painted before we actually let you play it in our for our videos, anyways. I mean, I got some friends who have unpainted armies. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a snob. I don't play people who have unpainted armies. I mean, I don't do that. But for my channel, anyways, if you want to be on the channel, you know, the army has to be fully painted. And so that's one way you can kind of discipline yourself. Like, you know, a lot of wargamers, they get too many projects at once and it kind of stacks up on them. So a good way if you want to, you know, stay disciplined and make sure that you actually, you know, finish your army is that you have to paint it up before you play it. It's very objective focus. It makes you focus, makes you want to paint it up, gets you excited to play the army as well as to paint it, so that way you can play it, and it looks really, really awesome. My suggestion to you, if you are thinking about painting up your army before you actually play it like I do, my suggestion to you is always, always, always paint your core requirements first. Always do that, because if you get your core requirements painted up, you can start playing at lower levels, like 1,000 points, 1,500 points, 2,000 points, around there. So that way you can start playing with it once it's painted. So that way you don't have to worry about all 3,000 points being done first. You can start ratcheting up your playing ability from there. So that's a slow suggestion from yours truly on that. But yeah, this is our 3,000 point army, the Shrieking Masquerade. And it looks awesome, it performs well, and it's a lot of fun to play and to play against, because my sister Shay kicks my butt with this thing. All right, you guys, so there you have it. That's our army showcase for the Shrieking Masquerade. As always, you guys, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. You guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest, greatest hobby news related to our channel. That's good for this one, you guys. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out and stay classy.